Today I got a chance to play Modern Warfare 3 Zombies a little bit earlier. I went to the Treyarch Studios, got to experience the game firsthand and play one full match. So we kind of got a little bit of a rushed experience in terms of being able to experience everything. Obviously, ideally, you'd love to play 10 hours, kind of absorb everything, get the full experience, but kind of gave us a crash course to kind of get an idea of how the mode's going to play. And it's very similar to what I expected. It may be even a little bit better than I expected. I thought it was going to be a hybrid of DMZ and then Outbreak, and it was exactly that. So if you're liking DMZ and you like the Outbreak mode from Cold War, you're probably gonna love this mashup because it combines a lot of the best things from both of those and incorporates it in a way that can be improved upon. Unfortunately, that also means there's no round-based zombies, which isn't horrible, like, because obviously there hasn't been zombies for a while, so at least something's better than nothing. But the way they've designed it allows you to get similar experiences you got with round-based with the way the zone threat levels work, because they've geared a lot of the content towards low threat, medium threat, and then a high threat zone. So the outer edge of the map is going to be the low threat. The inner of that is going to be the medium threat, and the most center will be the high threat, with the various expanding ether zones somewhere on the map, very similar to DMZ. Once it hits a certain time, that gas expands, and if any zombies are in there, it will make those zombies stronger. So you kind of want to avoid that area unless you absolutely need to go there. And although it's similar to the Outbreak mode, it's going to be the biggest zombies experience we've ever had. It's going to take place on the new Battle Royale map for Warzone. And so you get a full month essentially to try this map out before you get to play it in Warzone for the Battle Royale or whatever other modes they will have for that. So pretty cool opportunity. Obviously the lighting will be a little different. You can see the gameplay in the background. This isn't my gameplay. This is one that they provided to us so that we can get a good mix of different wonder weapons or whatever variety of things in there. I was able to use the ray gun in my experience, but there's a lot of different content that they want to kind of mash in there. So you'll be able to see some of that. On top of that, with it being a huge map, you're going to have more players on the map than ever before. Instead of the traditional 4-player zombies, it's going to be trios, and there's going to be 8 squads, so a total of 24 players, and you can choose to party up with some of these players. You can assimilate to a squad of 6, or you can completely avoid those, or you can go ahead and kind of see specific hotspots and maybe join them, experience content in a different way than you could with just a trio. How it works with the specific zones is if you're on the low threat, you're going to come across mercs or zombies. That's pretty straightforward. You get a low level AI, human players, and then basic zombies. And then when you move to the medium threat, you might get more armor on the mercs, and then the zombies will be a level 2, where some of them maybe have armor, more aggressive, they get some special types of zombies. And then when you go to the high threat, the mercs completely avoid that. It's too tough for them, they stay out. And then you only get zombies and some higher level zombies, boss type zombies. And they kind of alluded to, I guess you'll see it a little bit in the trailer, but a world boss style zombie eventually too, in some kind of regard that you would know about. So there's some interesting things there. They left it a little bit vague so players can experience it for the first time. Obviously within one match, we weren't ready to make it to anything like that quite yet. So we did get to experience quite a bit. We started in the low threat, did a bunch of contracts, build up our essence, pack a punch, got some perks, went to the threat level 2, dealt with that, moved on to threat level 3, probably before we were ready, just kind of experience, and we were able to make it out in Gfuel. So that was a full gameplay loop. You got about 45 minutes for the initial clock, which we have in DMZ is about 30 minutes. And then that zone begins to expand. You just need to make it to an Gfuel before it fully expands, which is about 15 minutes. And just like DMZ, there are items that you can loot and gather and carry over to the next match. One of the things that they've tackled, so there's not really like an out-of-game currency, is the schematic system. When you loot specific items, some are going to be rarer than others, you will get essentially a schematic that will allow you to craft the item you want. And there's a cooldown on that. So for example, if you got Pack-a-Punch schematic, you can go ahead and use it on your weapon when you infill, and then that'll start a cooldown on the schematic. And maybe when you're done with that match, you'll go into another match, and then you'll be able to get the schematic again if the cooldown is already finished. But if you're doing full matches, not dying, you should be able to use those depending on the cooldown rates on those. So, and that'll work for a lot of the items. So different perks, different weapons, a lot of those things that we've seen in DMZ, they've combated this with the schematic system. The fact that it's only a PvE experience allows them to kind of build the specific experiences. The idea of a world boss has been done in other games. It really couldn't be done in DMZ. It just doesn't really work. There are world bosses, but like it's a PvP experience. You kind of got to be play the situations different, knowing that you can get attacked. This one, they can make the bosses bigger, tougher, crazier. So in the future, I hope to see some of those types of things. But if let's say you're built up, you kind of got a good idea, grasp that, you can also work on missions the same way you do in DMZ. And after you've done a certain amount of missions, then you can go ahead and set yourself up to do a story mission. Built up, you got everything completed, you're ready to rock and roll and go to the next area. It'll actually put you in your own instance when you're doing this story missions. After you've built your stuff up towards the end of the match, hopefully you can kind of build that stuff up so you go in as strong as ever. You get the story mission, which will be your own instance, so they can actually build a mission that makes sense for you. And I would imagine this is probably similar to campaign. I don't know though, like a campaign style mission with a trio co-op. I don't know. We didn't get examples of it. We mainly got to do kind of what the gameplay would be if you're trying to loot up, build your character up, kind of experience the different zones. That low threat zone would be roughly like a round 5 zombie. So not really all that serious. You kind of get your feet wet. And then the medium threat would be like 20 plus. And then the high threat would be like 35 plus, where you get full on sprinters and all of that style of stuff. And because the gameplay loop allows you to essentially play the way you want, this is a great time for new players to jump in. Whether you were a zombies player and you kind of weren't sure about DMZ, this gives you an opportunity to take it slow, and vice versa. If you were a DMZ player not really sure about zombies and you kind of get your feet wet with this and you don't have to worry about PvP anymore, or you're none of those and you just want to try something different, it gives you an opportunity to kind of ease your way in. You can stay in the low threat zone as long as you want, and then obviously the better rewards will be deeper and deeper within the zone, so you get the opportunity to upgrade and get some better schematics for your future infills. And a couple different things they clarified were like the pack-a-punch in the low threat zone. You can only pack-a-punch to the first level. If you wanted a double pack-a-punch, you would have to go into the medium threat, so you can double and single pack-a-punch within the medium threat, and then the highest threat would allow you to triple pack-a-punch. So a lot of times the strat might be to get enough essence to double pack and then jump into the medium threat, pack a punch immediately, so you're already at that level. Maybe you have your triple plate and all those types of things, so you can actually build up that way. So that's kind of one progression of that. There's also a mystery box that provides different weapons, and it scales based off time. So later into the match, you will get provided with better items. This worked pretty similar to that in Cold War, where the higher the rounds you went, you're basically guaranteed high tier double, triple pack-a-punch weapons that were way more powerful than you would get like at round 1. But like I said earlier, there's a combination of mercs and zombies. In the merc areas, they have 3 different types of areas. You have your basic encampments, which are a little bit smaller, super easy to take care of. Then you have strongholds, which we've kind of come familiar with. And I think you do the encampment to get a key to do the stronghold, and then you do the stronghold and you get that key and do a fortress, and it gets harder as time goes on. So if you really want to challenge yourself, you probably wouldn't jump in right away with a level 1 weapon. You probably wouldn't survive very long. You need to increase the tier as well as the rarity of the weapon. So you're going to have that increased. You can do that through buying stuff or through challenges, looting, completing contracts. You get random rewards that you can use to upgrade your gear. So with the PvE experience, you could also get pretty creative because the mercs will fight the zombies. So if you wanted to like maybe take over an encampment really quick and you want to be it as easy as possible, maybe you just farm up and train a ton of zombies and then just march them over the encampment, and then they just create a big mess for the mercs and kind of make it easy for you to just get in there and just destroy everything. And one of the cool things that they mentioned that everyone was like, really, is that there's going to be a zombies camo, and this camo will be unlockable for both MW2 and MW3 weapons. So we didn't really get an idea of what it looks like or how to accomplish it or any of those things, but I think that's a pretty cool concept that I'll have a unique one that will be equipable on both weapons from both Modern Warfare 2 as well as Modern Warfare 3. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm streaming Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer as well as a brand new Battle Royale map. Link near the top of the description over on Twitch. Thank you for watching as always. Have a great day.